Hello everyone and welcome back to Shadowrun Returns Dragonfall. My name is Spot and this is part 8, I believe. As is with all of these episodes, if you are starting in the middle, please stop now. Go back and start at episode 1. This is a serialized story. It has a story arc. You do not want to come in on the middle. Bad. You have been warned. Alright, moving on. So we just got done with that mission at the factory hotel thing. And yeah, we got all this stuff. So now we are heading back to our placeage over here. Do you need to talk to me about anything specific? Probably not. You're probably just there like, because that's the word that is made. Let's jump in here. Ooh, Dante. What's up, buddy? Let's talk to the doggy. You look down to see a pair of bright eyes set into a scruffy face looking back up at you. Dante, Monica's old dog. Looking down into those huge brown eyes, you see intelligence and sadness. Poor guy. Alright. Pet him, sit, play dead, walk away. Pet him. Aw. Woofage. Alright. Let's talk to Paul at the moment. Amsel's expression is harder than you've seen it before. When he speaks, his voice is grim. Edgar has told me of Green Winter's death. She said that he died in the same manner that Monica did. I've seen worse. She shouldn't have done that. Speaking for the team, it's my job, not hers. It wasn't a pretty sight. Amsel nods gravely. I know that you and Edgar have had your differences. I will tell you that she was badly shaken by the sight of Winter's body. She also mentioned that you found something in Winter's safe, a package full of very old discs. May I see them? Hand over the discs. Of course. Good God! Gingerly, Amsel lifts the disc from the bundle and holds it up to the light. Slowly, he begins to turn it in his hand, causing rainbow patterns to shimmer across its surface. I haven't seen one of these since I was a boy. Is it a CD? That's awesome. This is a DVD-RW, a data storage medium from the mid-2000s. I'm amazed that Winters was able to find a device that could play it. That's great. Do you know how we can read these things? He puts down the DVD in his hands and quickly inspects the others. The first disc that I looked at might be readable. The others are damaged, some severely so. I have my doubts about them. For now, let's concentrate on the undamaged disc. There's a little shop outside, Data Haven. Talk to the proprietor, Mallet Hoylier. Hoylier? She might be able to help. Tell her to put the cost of the device on my account. I'm on it. Why don't you do it yourself? This might come as a shock, but I'm not your errand boy. I'm on it. All on the same team here, guys. We're looking for the truth, and that's about it. Let's talk to Dietrich real quick. Mr. Dietrich. Hey, boss. Dietrich gives you a slight nod. What can I do for you? How you holding up? You seem to take Monica's death harder than the others did. Any thoughts about that last run that you'd like to share? Nothing right now. Let's roll. Well, we found Winters. That's something, I guess. This whole thing has me feeling uneasy, boss, but at least we have a direction to look in. Okay, how you holding up? Dietrich shakes his head, a wistful expression on his face. Nah, no harder, but I'm less buttoned up than the others are. Idle never let herself show any weakness, and Glory, well, she's too full of chrome to feel much of anything. He shrugs. Me? I don't give a damn. I've spent too much of my life putting on a show for others already. What do you mean by that? I used to front a punk band, way back when. Believe it or not, I spent a pretty good chunk of my life on the stage. Whenever we weren't playing, I was living up to our fans' expectations, spouting off, getting into fights, getting drunk, getting laid. Not a bad life, all things considered. Wait a second, you can sing? What was your band called? Maybe I've heard of it. How did you go from fronting a band to running the shadows? Let's see. He regards you with a critical eye. I was the frontman for a punk band, boss. Fuck no, I can't sing. He grins, but I wasn't half bad at riling up a crowd. What was it called? Oh, I doubt it, boss. We never really got any airplay. Spit it out, old man. Alright, boss, if you insist. The band was called Messerkampf. Spelled just like it sounds. In big capital letters with an exclamation point. We weren't a big act or anything. We sold a few records here and there, toured around Europe. We had a decent following in England, and we holed up in London from 31 to 36. Spent most of our time slumming it around the East End, and picked up enough cockney to irritate the folks back home. He shakes his head. Truth be told, the whole chapter of my life is a bit of a blur. We didn't do it for the fans or the fame, and we sure as shit didn't care about money. All that mattered to us was staying young and drunk and angry. He takes a moment to examine his gnarled hands, a sad smile on his face. We managed the second two. Good God, where has the time gone? Dietrich shakes himself from his reverie and looks back up at you. That familiar, easy grin returns to his face. Well, anyway, boss, everything ends eventually. And I washed my hands of all this years ago, so let's change the subject if you don't mind. How'd you go from fronting a band to running the shadows? Wasn't as big a leap as you think. I already had a healthy disrespect for authority, and I had the magic to back it up. One nice thing about shamanism, as long as you keep your icon happy, it doesn't matter what else you do. The Dragon Slayer chose me to be his servant, and as long as I was scrapping with someone bigger than me, he didn't much care whether I did it on stage or in the shadows. Tell me about the Dragon Slayer. He shrugs. Not much to tell. He chose me when I was just a kid. I could always feel him in my heart, goading me to laugh louder, hit harder, and get rowdier than the rest. Of course, my family didn't understand, but the hell with them, I thought. I knew that I was destined for greater things. So I listened to him, and I cracked the skulls of a lot of bad people. He saw this and was pleased, and rewarded me with magic, and I used that magic to crack bigger, thicker skulls, and so on. He shrugs. It's a simple life, but a good one. So long, Dietrich. He nods at you. Take it easy, boss. Alright. Who else do we want to talk to? This is our stash here, right? I don't think we actually have anything in there we care about. Let's see if we can talk to Glory about anything. Jack, what do you need? Hey, Glory, how you holding up? Don't worry about me, I'm solid. Okay. You say you're good? You're good. I trust you. Glory's expression remains neutral, but she grants you a barely perceptible nod. I have a question for you, Glory, of the personal kind. No, we're not doing that right now. Do it yourself. Alright. What's up, Dante? We want to talk to Iger at all? Iger turns to face you. There's a pained look on her face. Look, I owe you an apology. I'm listening. When Monica died, I was pissed. That probably doesn't come as a huge surprise, but I took that anger out on you, and I shouldn't have. Seeing Winter's body like that was enough to convince me. You couldn't have done anything to help Monica, and I couldn't have either. We're dealing with something new. Monica was a good friend of mine. Her death hurt. I got carried away, and I said some things that I shouldn't have. I want to apologize for that. Her body relaxes. She begins to turn away. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say. There are a few things that I want to say. She stops and turns back to face you. You can see the wariness behind her eyes. Go ahead. Nobody's stopping you. I accept your apology, but if you ever insult me in front of my team again, you're going to regret it. That's a promise. That weak-ass apology changes nothing. Your behavior after Monica's death was inexcusable. You're a valued member of this team, Edgar. We need you now more than ever. I'm glad that you're on my side. She raises a hand to stop you. The expression on her face has gone from cautious to annoyed. Cut the bullshit, fearless leader. I don't respond well to flattery. Oh, yes, she doesn't. I remember that from the notes. Shit. Forget it then. Yeah, I will. She shakes her head in disgust. You should go. I've got prep work to do for our next run, and you've got more important things to do than watch me pack my gear. Yeah, I forgot. She takes stuff like that to be just, you know, well, bullshit. Your workstation, mission computer, the command center. Right, we know this. Check your inbox for messages. One unread message. Awesome. Recommissioning your services. Withheld to Zek. We would like to arrange a meeting between you and one of our representatives. You will find him at the cafe nearby. His name is Luca Durr. He will be expecting you. Come alone. Interesting. That might be a bad thing, but we'll see. Anything on the BBS we care about? Post payday for sale. Do we have anything? No, we don't. Claim payment for sold payday. Pending transactions. Sold antiquities. Hello. Winning bid. 550. Escrow fee. Awesome. Cool. Go back. Walk away for now. How much money do we have now? $22.94. Alright. Not bad. Come on, Dante. Come on, boy. We're gonna go find us a DVD drive. Yes, we are. You're a cutie little dog. Here we go. Yes, we've talked to her before. Let's go. Welcome back. What can I do for you? Broken drone. I acquired this drone. Can you get it up and running for me? Looking for something that can play a DVD. I need some tech. Acquired this drone. Can you get it up and running again? Let's check this out first. Yeah, probably it might take a bit of doing, though. I love working on these old corp drones. Can't make you any guarantees, but either way, it's on the house. That's not why. You like me, don't you? I think you do. Okay. I'll leave it in your hands. I'll start on it right now. See you later. No, no, don't, no. Don't see me later. I need to talk to you. Thank you. I need some tech. I'm on a tight schedule. Oh, right. Can I get that deck yet? Have I already got the deck? No. I don't have a deck yet, do I? Yeah. I'm looking for something that can play back a DVD-RW. Really? That is old tech. Very old, in fact. Just a moment. I'll go look. She turns to rummage through a bit of obsolete components in the back of her stall. Ah, yes, here we are. The dwarf wrestles a mid-sized flat-screen display out of the bin. This display has old enough hookups to connect to a DVD player. RCA, you know, vintage. That's cool. The player itself, though, this I do not have. You may wish to try your luck down at the junkyard. There's a scavenger there. A primitive man with a crude disposition. If anyone here in the Chris Bazaar can help you find your DVD player, he can. But he will almost certainly attempt to overcharge you for it. She takes a deep breath and smiles up at you. But you're not here for gossip. Shall we conclude our business? I could give you the display for, say, 200 Nuyen. Paul Emsel said to charge it to his account. Ah, very well. I will have it packaged up and delivered to Herr Emsel straight away. Best of luck finding your DVD reader. I wish you well. She's actually nice. That's cool. Now, the cafe is where we're supposed to meet that contact, right? Ooh, who are you? Cammy? You look like a hottie. Oh, we know Cammy, yeah. She tips an invisible hat. Hey there, remember me from the cafe? Name's Cammy. Are you looking for something? Well, who you are for one thing. I'm Altug's ears and hands outside of the cafe. Call me Cammy. We know that part already, thanks. I wear a couple hats. A barista, a gopher, keep my eyes and ears open. Let's just say I go on by trading stories. Get on by trading stories. So I can count on you to hear what's going on. Like I said, only if you got something juicy for me. Or if Altug wants me to tell you something, but that's rare. I may be his ears and hands, but he's got enough of a voice all by himself. He doesn't seem to be afraid to use it either. So what's the story between you and Altug? She grins and winks lavishly at you. Oh, surely you've guessed. You're not serious. She laughs. I can't pull a fast one on you, can I? Well, I'll tell you the real story sometime. How about that? Right now, though, I have some errands to run. Come over sometime and we can chat over hookah or something. Yeah? She lazily tips an invisible hat to you before turning your focus to a comm on her wrist. Alright. I see. Okay. So we talked to her. Oh, we're supposed to go to the cafe. Find this contact. Dante. Who's this guy? Oh, that's Blitz. Oh yeah, Blitz. We know Blitz. Luca Dur. There we go. We talked to this guy. Luca Dur. Hello. So you're Zek, eh? Good. You look the part. Let me get right to business. My organization would like to pay you handsomely to take care of some business for us. All you have to do is continue your work, and we will be in touch periodically to ask you to complete very simple tasks. How do you know so much about me? My organization knows everything worth knowing in Germany, including this small pond that is Berlin. It is in our best interest, however, to remain unknown. This much is all that I will tell you. No thanks, buddy. I work alone. Sure, I'm in. I'm in. Good. Don't worry. I'll be in touch. When I contact you with a new task, you can still take it or leave it. If you take it, return here and I'll pay you a fair sum for your services. If you leave it, my organization will be quite unhappy. I would advise compliance, but there's always some margin for extenuating circumstances. Alright. Let's talk to Blitz for a minute. Blitz seems to have found a home for himself here at Cafe Says. You find him jacked into a portable terminal, lounging in a haze of applewood tobacco. He appears to be supremely at ease. He lazily turns his head at the sound of your approach. Without a word, he sighs and jacks out of the terminal. Hey, Chief, you need something? Checking in, you doing alright? He smiles. His smile widens. Great, Chief. I'm doing just great. It's real nice to be able to wind down and relax for a change. No more worrying about this ganger or that ganger sneaking behind me and slipping a knife between my ribs. He slaps the table with a grin. It's a good change, Chief, I've got to say. No one is ever really safe. Not when gangs are involved. Don't let your guard down. Good, then you can focus on getting our current job done. Glad to hear. We're happy to have you on the team. Of course you are. He gestures at himself with a flourish. What's not to be happy about? You're all settled in. I've got some questions for you. Blitz glances wistfully back at the terminal on the table, then turns back with a sigh of resignation. I suppose, but try to keep it short, okay, Chief? I've got things to do. How long were you in Drogan Kip? I ended up there after the Anarchist Revolution of 39. I was just a kid back then, too young to realize how good I was, how much money I could have made working the shadows. He shakes his head, a wistful expression on his face. And so, being young and dumb, I fell in with that gang crowd, and that was that. You're a member of a drug gang. Why should I trust you? I suppose that it can wait. I'll let you get back to... Why wouldn't you, Chief? I mean, just look at me. He does his best to give you a waning smile. I'm a trustworthy guy. Prove it. Tell me about the gang that you ran with. Well, I don't know all that much, Chief. I wasn't a member of gang leadership or anything. I'm not really sure why you care, either. Consider it a test. I need to know where your loyalties lie. It doesn't matter why I care. Just tell me. It's like a thought. Just tell me. He rolls his eyes. If that's what it'll take for you to trust me, fine. Anything for you, Chief. Well, where to begin? When I first arrived at Drogan Kip, I spent some time taking in the lay of the land. The Schwarzharzen were still a pretty small gang, strictly street level, but I could see they were going places. I did a little pro bono decking for their leader, a fat little dwarf named Dieter. Soon enough, I was part of the family. For a drug gang, the Schwarzharzen were decent enough folks. I made a lot of money with them, helped them take the hotel in the first place. We had a lot of good years there. Then Dieter was killed in a firefight, and our happy little family fell apart. Was that when the hotel got attacked? Bliss takes a deep breath, shifts his weight from one foot to another. Not exactly. The Schwarzharzen maintained their hold on Drogan Kip, but the change of leadership was bad news for me. After Dieter kicked the bucket, his second-in-command took over. She was a real piece of work, called herself Leonie Luster. She had a vicious streak a mile long, and she was none too fond of me. Did she turn on you? Immediately. I don't know why. Maybe she felt threatened by my friendship with Dieter, back before he ate that bullet. Or maybe she was just jealous of my rugged good looks. Who the hell knows? The point is, she went after me, vigorously. Within 24 hours of Dieter's death, I had a price on my head, and then the hotel got taken over. So that's what you need to know about the Schwarzharzen. They were a great gang, a powerful gang. I helped to make them that way. Then they had a management turnover, and everything went to hell. Blitz rocks back on his feet, his hands in his pockets. That's it. End of story. Anything else you want to talk about? Wait a second. That isn't it. There are some pretty big holes in that story. Come on, boss. This is all ancient history. Wouldn't you rather talk about the future? The runs we're going to go on? All the money we're going to make? Blitz, tell me what happened between Lester putting the price on your head and the hotel getting attacked. Alright, Chief, fine. If that's what it'll take to make you happy. So I was in a bind, right? The members of the Schwarzharzen who were loyal to Lester were all out for my blood, and none of the others were going to stick their necks out for me. The advantage of being a ganger is protection in numbers. When those numbers turn against you, you've got to get creative if you want to stay alive. Oh, I know where this is going. What did you do? Blitz taps the plastic of his data jack. Well, I had to. Lester had declared war on me, so I retaliated, and I won. All without ever firing a shot. That's not an answer. Blitz sighs. You won't be satisfied until I spell it out, will you? Okay, fine. I hacked into Lester's computer and sent all of her information to a rival organization. Remember, Frank from the hotel? He was my liaison. They hit the Schwarzharzen and they hit him hard. Then they took the hotel, and then they took me. I'll admit that the plan backfired a little. Serves you right for writing out your own gang. You're a traitor, Blitz. You did what you had to do in place. I'd probably have done the same. Actually, yeah. Blitz lets out a sigh of relief. Thanks, Chief. I know you'd understand. Now, if you don't mind, I'd like to get back to what I was doing. He gives you a lazy salute. We'll talk later, I'm sure. And Chief, I'm glad to be a member of the team. Alright. I think we've got everything done here that we need to. You want, just to be sure, let's talk to Altug. The Turk leans into you, keeps his voice low. I have information regarding that matter my people were looking into. Effendum, the one involving the surveillance device on my data tap. Altug, I've been waiting for my coffee for nearly an hour already. Are you growing the beans out back? The coffee vendor shouts. Can't you see I'm speaking to an honored guest, you tower of quivering corpulence? His voice lowers again. Now then, as I was saying, we were fortunate that you happened upon that surveillance tap when you did. The people on the other end were planning a very bad thing, to be sure. Very bad thing? Quite bad, yes. Monica Schaefer was an important member of this community. more than most were aware of. This Kais was under her protection. You know how it is in the Flux. Effendom. The governance of a place like this is tenuous at best. You never know who's going to be in charge from one day to the next. But Monica was a stabilizing force, and not just because she was dangerous. She was smart and funny, wise, and she had a way with people. They wanted to support her, to follow her, because they loved her. When she was killed, it left an opening for others. It would have meant bloodshed and pain if this council had been allowed to continue their plan, but they did not. We saw to it, you and I. What happened to them? They have been reasoned with. Let us simply say the matter is settled and leave it at that. The Crust Bazaar will maintain its stability a while longer thanks to us. Now what can I do for you, Effendom? Would you like some coffee, perhaps? Give me the Turkish coffee, the real stuff. Very good. Oscar hands you a ceramic travel cup, which he then fills to the brim with dark, steaming liquid. The scent is intoxicating. Is there anything more that I can get you? Just killing time. I'm going now. All right. Well, that's good, and we got some karma for that. Probably have quite a bit of karma we need to assign. But at the moment, I would like to go over to... Where is the... Talos Kramer. Where's the... junkyard? Not there. Is it over here? I forget. Oh, it's over here. Here we go. I think that's what this is. Yes! Junkyard. What's up, dude? Is that Shrotty? A stout old man looks up from whatever old tech he's tinkering with to squint at you through thick, old-fashioned glasses. He pushes them up with an old, oil-stained finger as he straightens up to nod at you. He speaks with a gruff, but well-meaning tone, heavily accented with German tonality. Guten Tag. What can I do for you? Sorry. Altic tells me you're the man to speak about DVDs. That little shrew sent you my way, huh? Shrotty's smile broadens. Will wonders never cease? Well, introductions are in order, I suppose. Shrotty Buckman, at your service. The old man raises a grimy hand in salute. Needs something salvaged? Some old components? Velech? I'm indeed your man. Wonderful. How about that DVD player? Well, let's see. I think that I've got something that'll work for you. Shrotty rummages through the junk heaped on the table behind him. A few seconds later, he cinches a battered plastic lozenge shape from the pile. Ah, here we go. An old Korean player that I dug up last week. 2010 model. A rear beauty. Shrotty's smile broadens and he gives you a conspiratorial wink. I fixed her up and got her running, but without any discs to read, I've mostly been using her as a paperweight. Sounds like what I'm looking for. How much do you want for it? Shrotty glances back at the DVD player, a rueful expression on his face. Well, I'll admit, I'm a little loath to part with her. There are plenty of folks out there who'd really appreciate an older player such as this, and I don't know what your intentions are for it. I suppose, given the time and trouble I took putting her back together, that I'd be willing to part with her for, oh, say, Shrotty's eyes dart over your gear, calculated expression on his face, about 500 Noonian. 500? Screw that. Strength 4. I've got a better idea. How about you give me the DVD player and we call it even? Shrotty's eyes narrow and you can see a scrawl boiling up from under his mustache. Alright, fine. I see how it is. He's slowly the DVD player from the table and thrust it into your chest. Take it if you must, but I won't forget what you've done here today, and you shouldn't either. You should leave. Probably shouldn't have done that. But 500? Holy crap! That's a lot. Okay, we're gonna go back to Paul. All the way back. All the way back. Those are like antique prices. Go in here. All the way back. Here we go. Everybody's just standing around, it seems. Alright, let's talk to Paul. It seems that Amsel has assembled a team in your absence. They stand in a group around the old display that you had Mallet deliver. On their faces you can see excitement and apprehension, curiosity and dread. Jack, have you procured a DVD reader? Hand Amsel the DVD player. Have it right here. Good, this should only take a moment. Ansel disappears behind the ancient display. After a few minutes of fiddling with his battered inputs, he reappears, a satisfied look on his face. Everything appears to be functional. The disc should be ready to play. Well, don't keep us in suspense. Start the damn thing already. Jack went to the trouble of fetching everything. Let him do the honors. Ansel steps back, clearing a path for you to access the antique machine. Really? I don't really care. Where is it? Oh, it's over here. Really? You were over here and then came back. Never mind. Whatever. A soft whirling sound fills the air as the ancient DVD player spins the disc up to speed. The scratched LCD display comes to life and a menu fills the screen. We'll go with 1. The screen goes black, and a cheerful digital chiming sound spills out of the display speakers. A crackle of static fills the air, coupled with a shrill electronic whine. After a few moments, the display goes live, and a disheveled-looking man appears on the screen. His eyes glitter with excitement. The timestamp on the screen is 2034-09-15. Adrian Vauclair. Hermie, I think we found her. After all this time. Hushring. I knew that she wasn't dead. Isn't that the dragon? His speech is jittery. You can hear the urgency in his voice. She survived the dragonfall. Just as I've always said. I knew it, and I was right. That is her. The screen explodes into static, and the electronic whine in the background sharpens into a needle-like pulse of high-pitched sound. Somewhere in the background, Dante lets out a low whimper. The screen clears, and the excited face is closer to the screen than it was before. The words spill out of him in a breathless tide. Taking a team into the Sox to retrieve her, the radiation be damned. We'll take appropriate precautions, of course, but we must go. Hermie, I think that the body may be nearby as well, somehow. She has survived. For all this time, the screen explodes into static again, then clears. The figure flickers across the screen. May not be back for some time. Look after Mom, okay? I worry about her, and Hermie, stay safe out there. I know that things are heating up in Berlin, and I know you. Student protest, civil uprising, you'll be in the middle of it. I'm sure. Just stay safe, alright? And I'll do my best to do the same. I don't know what's going to happen when I step into the Sox, SOX, but I do know one thing. If the Fire Wing is still a danger, I will put an end to her, once and for all. Okay, interesting. Play track 2. The screen goes black for a moment, then a figure appears on the screen. Your late client, Green Winters. His elbow is planted on the table that he's seated at, and his chin rests on the palm. The other hand is wrapped around a bottle of cheap whiskey. The timestamp on the video reads 2053-12-25. Oh wow, it's like, what, 20 years to 15 years? Green Winters. Found the message Adrian left me, all those years ago. Got it cleaned up as best I could. Strange hearing his voice again. He pauses to take a long pull on the bottle. It's good to hear him, even if he did insist on calling me Hermie. Dr. Adrian Vauclair, the hero of the people, the Dragon Slayer, my brother. He grimaces and rubs his eyes. Hard to believe it's been almost 20 years. Oh yeah, okay, it was. Alright, so I'm gonna start recording these DVDs again, for me, for Adrian, for whoever might wind up watching them. Every time I do this, it winds up feeling like a waste of time, but I keep doing it anyway, on the off chance that I'll find something important. If I stumble into the clue that leads me to my brother, I know that I'm gonna want it on film. I've been doing this for almost 20 years now, after all. No sense in quitting now. Christ, 20 years. All this time and still no leads. Even with all of my contacts and my resources. He takes another long swallow of cheap liquor. Even with my legendary bullheadedness, I've made no progress at all. I haven't turned up a single good goddamn thing. Want to hear something funny? The closest I've gotten to a clue is a rumor. Apparently a team emerged from the SOX a while back. Nobody's clear on the date. But, and get this, he leans in the camera and gives a conspiratorial wink. Supposedly they vanished without a trace. He upends the bottle, drains it, slams it back down to the table. His eyes are rimmed with red. Not much of a rumor, considering. I already know that you're gone, big brother. I live with that every day. Wow, okay. Abruptly, Winters leans forward and reaches for something off screen. The display goes black. A few seconds later, the main menu returns. Track 3. There's a grinding sound from the DVD tray, and Green Winters' image appears on the screen. There's an eager look on his face. The timestamp on the video reads 2054-10-12. Stumbled upon this archival footage of First Ring's original attack, months before the Dragonfall. Easy to forget how devastating it was. Adrian saved a lot of people by bringing her down. I've got the footage all queued up to play, starting it now. Additional comments to follow. The slow whirl of the DVD player shifts to a high-pitched whine. A distorted, wavering image blooms into being at the screen. On the screen. A timestamp on the upper right corner of the screen marks the date. July 6, 2012. Oh, this is interesting. It's difficult to make out what you're seeing at first. The scene is dark and smoky, and the telltale flashes of emergency vehicle lights flicker on the peripheral of the screen. The camera pushes in, and you can make out two figures standing in a ruined landscape. All at once, the sound cuts in. Again, for those of you just joining us, we are coming to you live from Stolberg. A few hours ago, the Dragon Forschring launched an unprovoked attack on this sleepy, harsh mountain town, and you can see the results behind me: fire, ashes, and blood. We are joined tonight by a survivor of the latest and most horrifying attack. The reporter turns to face a pale man standing behind him. Sir, I understand that you've been through a terrible ordeal. Thanks for taking the time to speak with us tonight. The camera switches focus to a middle-aged man with a haunted look in his eyes. He stammers out a reply. Yes, of course. If you could, sir, could you please tell the people at home about your experience of the attack? It was horrible. Just pure chaos. So many people dead. People I knew, roasted alive or trampled to death trying to escape. My own house was burned to the ground during the attack. My family, we have nothing now. You all made it through the attack, though. Your wife, your kids? Yeah, we all made it, thank God. We rode out the attack in a small shelter, me, my wife, and our 2 daughters. The shelter, it protected us, but the heat was just unbearable. We couldn't have stayed in there much longer than we did. How long were you holed up in there? 3, maybe 4 hours? I don't know. We just stayed inside until the heat died down and the screaming stopped. What happened after that? When it was over, you know, when the air cooled down, the reporter nods and the man continues. We stepped outside. There was nothing left, just smoldering wreckage and this dense cloud of black, oily smoke, and the stench in the air. God, that smell. It smelled like roasting meat. There's a long pause. From the tortured look on his face, you can tell that the man is struggling to decide whether or not to continue speaking. Eventually, he does. My girls, they found what was left of their nanny outside. Her body, what was left of it, was slumped against the shelter door. I keep telling myself that I couldn't hear her pounding to get in, but that isn't true. I could. I just couldn't bring myself to open that door. I couldn't risk my family like that. Not for her. Not for anyone. Thank you, sir, for taking the time to speak with us. Yeah. You heard it here, an absolutely chilling account of tonight's attack. Again, the town of Stolberg has been reduced to ash, another victim of the Fire Wing. Stay with us for more up-to-the-minute reporting on Forschring's Reign of Terror. Green Winter's face reappears on the screen. Okay, it's time for a new approach. Adrian's complete dead end. That much is pretty clear by now, so I'm going to do some digging on Forschring instead. Let's see where this goes. The screen abruptly goes black as the video cuts off. A few moments later, you find yourself returned to the main screen. Number 4. The DVD player ramps up speed, filling the air with a shrill, whining sound. Green Winter's image appears on the screen. The timestamp on the video reads 2054-1031. Well, that was a bust. Little progress on Forschring either. He shakes his head. I don't know, it's weird. The information is there. It's just wrong somehow. It's too well laid out, too simple. Real life is messy, and this feels just a little too neat. That's not the only thing that's nagging at me. I'm getting that tingly feeling all up and down the back of my neck again. It feels like I'm being tracked. I'm no Matrix hotshot like Clockwork or Schaefer, but I'm good enough to know when someone's on my scent. Gotta install some new security measures. Can't be too careful. Winter's image disappears. The display goes back. A few seconds later, the main menu returns. Track 5. The display goes blank for a moment, then the face of Green Winters winks into the screen. He is seated at the computer. Off to his left, an enormous monitor fills the screen. His voice carries an edge of panic. The timestamp on the video reads 2054-1109. Holy crap. Christ, I'm getting too close to something. There's a trail of bodies, and there have been disappearances. Clockwork, Marcian, Peregrine, they've all disappeared within the past few years. Clockwork just went AWOL yesterday, and they were all making the same sorts of inquiries about the Fire Wing that I've been. There are ghost stories spreading around the Decker community, stories about Deckers disappearing and then showing up again later, but wrong somehow. Scary stuff, and I'm starting to think that it's true. Blitz leans in to whisper to you. I know the stories he's talking about, Chief. Never really put much stock in them, not until now. Could those rumors be related to what's happening here? Am I being paranoid? He pauses for a moment as if seriously considering the question. Then he shakes his head and slams his fist on the table. No, I don't think so. Something big is happening here and I'm right in the middle of it. Edgar cuts in. That's a bit of a leap. One other thing. Tolstoy told me a story about a kill team that might be related to all of this. Apparently a Decker named Hellebore posted a theory about Forschring to the Shadowland BBS about 5 years ago. About an hour later, a mil-spec team showed up in Meat Space and cooked her entire apartment, with her in it. If what Tolstoy told me was true, Hellebore live posted the event. She described her killer. This great big orc with skin grafts. Then the whole thread disappeared, gone without a trace. Big orc with skin grafts? Hello? Leap? Edgar love? Sounds like he's on the right track to me. Edgar holds her silence but concedes the point with a small nod. On the screen, Winters pauses. He looks like he's working up to something. Finally, he speaks. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. This has got to be Farstring. All of it. Adrian was right about her. She's still alive and she's out of the SOX. She's covering her tracks, working the shadows, preparing to rise again. And that means that I have to find you, Adrian, for everyone's sake. Thankfully, I've got a lead. For the first time in 2 decades, I've got a solid goddamn lead. I've backtraced all of the Matrix nodes that Hellebore was looking into, back before she got cooked. Whoever's been purging the Matrix didn't think about that, and I found that she'd turned up. Winters stabs a few keys on his keyboard and an image expands to fill the screen of his monitor. A satellite photo of a rural landscape annotated with GPS data. A set of map coordinates. So now I've got a target, a place to start digging. The Harfield Manor, conveniently located on an isolated stretch of countryside miles away from prying eyes. Matrix records indicate that some sort of data vault exists beneath the estate, so that's what I need to get into. And this is where we came in. As if on cue, a familiar image winks onto the monitor to Winters' left. Monica. I think I'm going to tap Schaefer for this job. She's got the skills to bypass whatever security they're running out there, and she's gullible enough to take the job in the first place. I'll feed her some line about fuck state security, and she'll eat it up with a spoon. I warned her. Envil's voice is choked with rage. I warned her. On the display, Winters' mouth parts into a broad grin. Time to put plans into motion. By this time tomorrow night, I should have the information that I need, and on the off chance that Schaefer gets taken out, well, that'll tell me something too. Can't make an omelet and all that. Until then. Winters' image disappears. The display goes black. A few seconds later, the main menu returns. Last track. When you play the 6th track, a small video window appears. You recognize the scene in the window. You're looking at the tattered drapes and nicotine-stained wallpaper of Winters' hotel room at Das Kasselhof. The timestamp on the video reads 2054-1110. There's a blur of motion and the haggard form of Green Winters lumbers into frame. Suspicions confirmed. Schaefer dead. Christ! Winters reaches a shaking hand off camera. A moment later, he turns clutching a cheap plastic drinking glass. He gulps something down, wipes his mouth with the back of his hand, and takes a deep breath. Okay. Back up. Slow down. Start from the beginning. Winters closes his eyes and makes a visible effort to calm himself. When he speaks again, his voice is steady. Got the call from my contact in the Cruz Bazaar. Schaefer killed on the estate run. Matrix security on the estate cooked her brain. Considering Schaefer's skill and experience on-site, IC must have been extreme. Even by Berlin standards, security of that kind costs money, real money. Given the evidence uncovered so far, corporate involvement unlikely. The connection to this fire wing is too strong. So let's come right out and say it. The dragon is what we're dealing with here, and the smart money says that she's coming for me next. Well, I won't go down without a fight. I've still got my contacts, still got my connections, and the flux state can be a hell of a weapon for the man who knows how to manipulate it. Winters takes another long pull from his glass, grimaces and swallows. Time for me to make my play. Ghost stories or no, missing Deckers or no, I've got to jack into the Matrix and start pulling strings. The countermeasures that I installed earlier should be more than enough to keep me safe for the 20 minutes I'll be in there. Winters drains the rest of the glass, then tosses it back over his shoulder. A moment later, you hear the dull clattering sound of hard plastic on linoleum. Schaefer's death was tragic. She was a staunch supporter of the F-State, but still, all things considered, Winters fishes for something off screen. A moment later, his hand reappears clutching a data jack cable. Better her than me. He plugs the cable into his head, and the screen cuts to static. Wow. As your finger nears the eject button, a black screen cuts in over the static. A moment later, Green Winter's haggard face appears. If you're watching this, then I guess they caught up with me. They will be after you too now. Blitz whispers into your ear again, more harshly this time. What the hell is this? Why didn't you warn me about this before I came here? Whisper back, not now. Announce loudly, hey everybody, Blitz is scared. Whisper back, we didn't know. Not exactly. Not exactly? I didn't come here to get hunted by a dragon. I'm not even part of this. You are now, whether you like it or not, so quiet down and stop bothering him. Hey, Glory, you go, girl. Wherever you are, whatever you think you're after, you need to find Dr. Adrian Van Clair. Not because he's my brother, because if First Swing is rising again, he's the only one who can stop her. You've seen what happens to people who get too close to this. I'm dead and dozens of others have died. You'll be next, unless you can find Adrian. The screen cuts to black static. The message is over. The DVD tray slides out of the reader. Whoa, that was hardcore. And we're gonna end this episode here. Yeah, I hate to do it to you, but wow, that's pretty hardcore. If it makes you feel better, I'm not gonna go on recording. I'm gonna stop here as well. So I'm in as great anticipation as you are, and it hurts, I agree. So until next time, stay safe, have fun, and we will come back to this and it'll be awesome. Okay, bye-bye.